Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will and with me is the hacker herself,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Android Infiltration. Sarah, tell us about the game.
All right, set in the dystopian future of Android, Infiltration is a card game where players are thieves competing to steal valuable secrets from a highly secured corporate facility. So, Will, how does this game change for two players?
So, on page 10 of the rules, it instructs you that for a two-player game, you will play two characters each. And that means you have to keep everything about those characters separate. Their hand of cards, the points that they earn during the course of the game, everything like that. Now, at the end of the game, you will add up the two sets of points together, however many they have. So someone could die in the thing, get no points. That's 0 plus whatever else you got, or you add two numbers together. There is no bot, so no nanocorp is there to thwart your efforts. And yeah, that's all it comes down to with the two-player.
All right,
changes.
So let's take a look at some issues at the two-player experience. And for you, you were saying, oh, it's twice the effort.
Yes, because you have two distinct characters, you need to, well, do twice the amount of work. Making sure that both of them are being successful, not getting in each other's way, as well as the other player with their two characters. And then you have to do it all in one turn. It's just a lot of effort for what is essentially a press your luck game.
Right. So we've played other games that require in a two-player game to play two characters, and it's not been bad. In fact, there's been times where it's been very fun. We've really enjoyed being able to take two characters through the experience. This is not an experience that makes it worth it.
Yeah, in fact, you had the issue of keeping track of the characters.
I got really frustrated with, I could remember the cards that I had, but I couldn't remember which character had which cards. So I'd be like, oh, this character got to this room, and now I'm going to use this card to do, and then I'd be like, oh, I can't, because that card's in the other character's hand, and yeah, and there's no sharing cards between your characters. So I really got frustrated trying to remember who had what and what my plans were for each of them. So you had the issue of too much effort. For me, I just couldn't keep it straight.
Which says to me, too much effort.
Yeah, agreed.
Because keeping them straight is part of the effort.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, let's take a look at what it does do well for the two-player experience, and it's not much, but you are allowed to activate either of your characters in the order of your choosing, and I did appreciate that, because we've played other games that really dictates this character and this character and then this character, and that open wiggle room of, well, this round I'd like this character to go first, and then next round a different character, so I did appreciate that.
Yeah, the set in stone is like, yay, it was written such and such that player A shall play player one character first and I only the second, and from henceforth. No, this is the dystopian future, man. You can do whatever you want, man, as long as it's just those two characters. And
you don't share items,
no,
and yeah.
Because they're selfish.
So much for teamwork, eh?
Dumb dystopian future.
All right, let's talk about the accessibility. So some of the challenges are the icons for the interface, the lab worker, and the tech lock tokens. The actual icon themselves is not very distinct. I have cards that show some of them, but I seem to have missed one of them. Anyways, they're only distinguished by color: blue, red, and yellow. Now, the good news is on these room cards, they're always in the same order.
Yeah, so layout
helps there. But if you're having trouble with the color, the icon it's just obscured. Again, it goes back to using art instead of an icon, and they made it so dystopian tech that it's lines and such, and it's just really hard to distinguish. It's not a clear icon.
Speaking of that leads into the next problem, and it's with the room cards. There are 3 different types of room cards: blue, yellow, and red, to represent a secret room, the first floor, and the second floor.
Yeah.
And all the distinguishing thing you have is what, a color
It's
border?
yeah, color bordered, but it's kind of tricky because they all kind of have yeah. So like this is supposed to be red, which there's a lot of red there. This is the yellow one, which still has red on it or it's kind of orangey, but yeah, it's supposed to be yellow. And then this is blue, which is a little more distinct off the reddish background. But the fact that there is kind of red in the background really is bad. But the problem is there's nothing written anywhere that says level 1, level 2, secret room, which would have gone a long way into being able to distinguish them.
Yeah. So if you need to make a cheat sheet for yourself because you just can't tell the colors, you're probably going to need to get someone's help. Figure out what all the level 1 cards are, make a list, a document, and just list down all the names of those rooms, because the names, I don't believe, share from floor to floor.
No.
And that way you have a cheat sheet so you know when it comes to setup, what's a floor 1, what's a floor 2, and set it up that way.
Right, because the good news is once you've set up the game, then, not that it doesn't matter, actually it kind of doesn't, because you have... I forgot X number of level 1 and X number of level 2. 6. Okay, so you have 6 level 1, 6 level 2, and 1 secret room. So once it's set up, then it doesn't really matter the floor level after that. The text on the cards are a little small, but then again, you're dealing with little small cards. So you might need some magnification on these.
But fortunately, the contrast is high.
Yeah. So actually then let's move on to what it does right. The cards are full text. There's no iconography. It's very good. It's black on white. There's only a little bit of art at the top, so they spend more of the time on the actual ability. And it can be a lot of text because these are the fun parts of the game, of being able to manipulate and do different things. Other than that, the rest of the game is open information, other than the fact you have to keep those cards secret, because there's times you can, use them to surprise your opponents or do bad things to them and things like that.
Because you're all out for it for yourself.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that in our review video.
Yes.
Right now, we'll move on to the conclusion. For 2 players, do we recommend this?
I would not.
I wouldn't either.
No, it's a lot of effort to try to make the game work. And I think the end result is it doesn't. It doesn't.
This should have been a 3 to 4 player.
3 to 6?
3 to 6. Yeah. 3+ players. This should have been, from what I've read online, if you like the game, which we'll talk about in our review video, this works a lot better at higher player counts. They probably wanted to squeeze in and say, yes, this plays 2, and they shouldn't have.
Right.
So for accessibility, do we recommend this?
I think it's fine. Apart from maybe the room cards, that's probably the biggest obstacle.
Or the small text.
Or the small text, yes.
Even my eyes, there's points where I'm like, okay, that says what again? You need good light. I mean, it is good contrast, but it's still tiny font.
Yeah, so, and that's probably why you were having the problem of who had which thing, because you remember reading them, because you had to spend so much effort doing that. Again, that's why the effort is such a big deal.
Yes.
For now you have twice the amount of cards, which is cool, but twice the amount of effort as well to focus.
And to keep it all straight.
Yes.
So, no on a 2-player, but for accessibility, it's relatively good.
Yes.
All right.
So hopefully any or all of that is helpful to you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2, that's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And please on YouTube, like and subscribe.
And why would you ever infiltrate with just 1 when you could be infiltrating
with 2?